Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Janet.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning? Perfect. Good morning, Vimbai, our favorite Naija wife.
I can't escape it, can I?
I'm sorry, I just love to say that. Good morning, Rotus Odiri.
Hey.
Your first time on What's Trending, isn't it?
It's good to be here.
All right,
good morning
fantastic.
To you. You're welcome, you're welcome.
Perfect. We're missing Rufai today. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin What's Trending. In the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where the police used tear gas to disperse protesters who took to the streets to demand good governance. The protesters, led by Omoyele Sowore, a former presidential candidate, were expressing their discontent with the state of the economy. The protesters also demanded the repeal of the Cybercrime Act and an end to the emergency rule in Rivers State, which they view as a form of military dictatorship under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The police had advised the organizers to cancel the protest as it coincided with the National Police Day celebration. Let's take a look. All right, these were horrific scenes yesterday when I was watching the videos, circulating on different social media platforms. I was so embarrassed. Again, it was National Police Day. It was a nice celebration. I felt like they should have done better. Let me take some reactions. This is from Nigerian citizens who wrote, "This regime fears the voice of the people. Tear gas won't stop hunger. Bullets won't silence the truth. You can't shoot your way out of failure. Nigerians are tired, and no amount of force can suppress a nation demanding justice." Another ex-user, Mendels, wrote, "How can this country really work? Just imagine the millions of protesters that came out in the United States and no police stopped them. When will this intimidation stop in Nigeria? It keeps getting tougher and harder day by day. Police oppressing, government oppressing, country oppressing." Rotus, how far? You weren't here yesterday when we took the story in the United States. You watched it, and I'm sure you saw over the weekend where there was a massive, we call it the mother of all protests yesterday, across the United States, across 50 states. Peaceful, it was a lot of people there demonstrating the fundamental rights were trampled
to express themselves.
I mean, what is
I'm with
happening?
you. Police in Nigeria are just too violent.
Yeah.
You've taken several viral videos on this show where you've shown police brutality in Nigeria. I think you talked extensively about the NSAS movement. Police are just too violent. You do not resort to tear gas when individuals are not breaking things or vandalizing anything. So you're very correct. It's an overreach by the police, and this is something that has to continue to be on the front burner of the conversation in the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like we were talking about this yesterday, especially in the United States, where there was that massive protest. If you have those visuals, just to see the sort of comparison that we can see here, right here in the United States. I don't know how much more we can speak to the police, Dr. Abati, really quickly.
Okay. What we're dealing with is the right to protest. The right to protest is a constitutional right. Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution says, as a Nigerian citizen, you have the right to express yourself. Section 40 says you have the right to assemble. But no right under the Constitution is absolute. No right is absolute. In other words, what you are required to do is to conduct yourself in a peaceful manner. This matter has already been settled in NNPP versus IGP by the Supreme Court, that the Nigerian people have the right to express themselves. But consistently, we have seen the police refusing to obey the position of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and the position of the extant law. You saw it in Kogi when Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan wanted to have a Salah celebration with her people. In fact, they even said the road should be blocked. She should not come in. But the senator came in by air, via helicopter, and she said she was inside her property.
Yeah, she landed on her
and
property.
that Nigeria recognizes the right to own property, and she has the right to host anybody
Absolutely.
inside her own space. You see that there was nothing they could do to her, you know, showing the futility of the attempt to abridge our freedoms in that regard under the Constitution. Number two, some persons said they wanted a pro-Wike protest in Bayelsa, in Yenagua. The whole issue again is that, no, you cannot come to Yenagua. In Port Harcourt, some people also said they were going to have a protest. They were told they will not protest. But when this protest now take place, because of the citizens, the young people, the take it back protesters, relying on the law and their rights, they get tear gassed. I think it's an abuse of fundamental human freedoms that the police will tear gas people. Even if you leave the Nigerian Constitution, Article 9 of the African Charter on Peoples and Human Rights, supported also by Article 11 of the same charter, provides people the opportunity to express themselves, not to be tear gassed. And I hope that some of these people who may have been affected will go to court to insist that they have the right, even the freedom of movement.
Absolutely.
They also have it. It is the job of the security agencies to provide security. And we have seen some examples in this country where even policemen joined the protests. We have seen an example where some policemen, I think it was in Lagos State, they were the ones even giving pure water
and bread
to the protesters.
I think that was during the NSAS
yes,
protest.
saying, look, we are in this together, protest, but don't be
Just
violent.
peacefully.
And they managed the situation. Even the policemen were interviewed. But the story I hear is that yesterday was supposed to be National Police Day.
So you will have been an
And
embarrassment.
the police didn't want to be embarrassed.
Come on.
Look, it could have been part of Police Day. You know, to even
Absolutely.
show that the Nigerian police is a very tolerant, responsible, law-abiding police
Yes.
force that will allow people to express themselves.
That's
but we are here this morning quoting section this, section that, about how, you know, the law enforcement agency of Nigeria also routinely breaks the law.
Absolutely, well said. We'll follow up on the story. Well, let's take another story now. There's been local and international condemnation over the killing of more than 50 people in Plateau State last week after gunmen stormed several villages in the Bokkos Local Government Area of the state. Many have described the attacks as an act of terrorism. In the same vein, former senator representing Kaduna Central, Sani, highlighted the plight of the Fulani ethnic group in a video now circulating on social media. He stated that the activities of bandits have destroyed lives and tarnished the reputation of the Fulani people. He spoke to members of the Fulbi Educational Development Association, urging them to shun kidnapping and all forms of criminality. Let's take a look.
10 to 15 years on banditry has not produced one billionaire among the bandits. It has destroyed the life of Fulani. It has even destroyed the image and reputation of Fulani people. Because every Fulani that is seen now is being seen to be a bandit. There are Fulani doctors. There are Fulani lawyers. There are Fulani engineers. There are Fulani architects. There are Fulani professors all over Nigeria. But criminality of these bandits that are mostly Fulani has destroyed the name, the image, the reputation of every Fulani man. Don't take lightly your mission. Your mission is very important. It's important for the peace, for the unity, for the progress and security of Nigeria. You should go to every nook and cranny, meet your people, tell them that we don't want banditry in northern Nigeria. We don't want kidnapping in northern Nigeria. We don't want their activities that has been destroying our image, our reputation as the people in northern Nigeria.
All right. I thought that was such an important soundbite, Vimbai. Really, really on point, Shehu Sani there. I mean, what I took away was the fact that he's saying that, this whole banditry act, I mean, how much money has it really given you? Have you seen a billionaire bandit before? Then what are you doing this for? I loved that soundbite, really, to teach, the people in that area, whoever it is that is committing, those terrorist acts, to stop. But also, I also loved the fact that he mentioned, the Fulani ethnic group being, tarnished or painted with that brush of, being bandits and, terrorists in the north. What do you make of that?
So, Oji, when you look at this issue, very complex issue, and you look at the Fulani people, it's impossible to give it the correct context without going back to the 19th century, without looking at the era of Usman Dan Fodio. And what now is creating a conflict for historians, because some are saying it's a debate against, was it revolution for empowerment or was it expansionism? And this has now trickled down into so much animosity that we now see today between ethnicities, and now what we see is criminality has now joined the WhatsApp group as well. The important point for me is the point that has been made, the position of the Plateau government, the Benue State government, to say that this is criminality. We are not calling them by any tribe or ethnicity. We are calling them terrorists. And I love that Shehu Sani is driving this point home, that as much as it's tempting for us to create these ethnic divisions and start to profile one another and start to, degenerate into a place of tribalism, the most important thing for us right now is to identify that there's criminality and there's terrorism, and to stem that, nip that in the bud. And this can only be done because of how, you look at just over 80 people slaughtered last week.
Terrible.
So you now realize that this is, and recurring over 20 years, this issue has happened in the same local government areas for 2 decades, to the point that they're now screaming ethnic cleansing.
Yes.
There's a lot of issues around it. So I love to see community leaders going into the community to try and get the conversation going that this is not the way to go. This is not how we can resolve our issues, because yes, there are issues. The issue of land is a pressing issue. We can't neglect that. Again, I go back to the Ministry of Livestock. What's going on with that issue? Because all of this, at the end of the day, goes back to the issue of herders and farmers. This is where the animosity has come in. So they are looking, there's climate change, there's so many factors. And now when you have sort of a lack of institutional oversight, lack of security, criminality is the next thing that happens. Extremism starts to seep in from other neighboring nations as well. So I'm glad to see the community leaders are taking ownership of this, going into the communities and driving this conversation.
Great submission, Vimbai. I love that. Rotus, it's hard to
realize.
The idea of ethnic profiling as well.
I don't know. Him talking to youth leaders and saying, you go into your communities and go and talk to them. And I don't want a situation where you are thrusting the responsibility on the community leaders. Terrorism is terrorism. And the way you fight it is using law enforcement. We had SBM Intelligence on the Global Business Report. They had a report on this farmer herder crisis and the economic impact. And essentially, I understand the community part, but when Shehu Sani is saying, look, you need to go into your communities, you need to talk to your people, it's almost like he's thrusting responsibility on them. It's still a law enforcement issue that we use to address terrorism. But look, it's still, again, good effort on his part.
Dr.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I think Comrade Shehu Sani should be commended.
Yes,
for his honesty, for speaking the truth to power, even if some of his own kinsmen may disagree with him. Because what he did simply in that interaction with those young persons is that he admitted that truly, in his view, many will disagree, that the people involved in banditry and terrorism are mostly from a particular ethnic stock. And he spelled it out, Fulanis.
Yes.
And he said, you are Fulani graduates, you are young men. There's something called mentoring.
Yes.
And he's in a position as a senior citizen to mentor these young persons, to say, you make a difference. The future that is in front of you as professionals, as trained persons, as graduates. It's not banditry, it's not terrorism. It is for you to show that the Fulanis are very distinguished persons and there are distinguished professionals, and that banditry terrorism is not a label that you can put on the Fulani person. I think from the point of view of mentoring, he did a good job. The third point is that all the security chiefs we have had, they always talk about what they call the non-kinetic approach. They talk about the involvement, the collaborative approach. They said all of us should be involved in ensuring the security of Nigeria. This is Comrade Shehu Sani, or Senator Shehu Sani. He went to the Senate. He used to be comrade before he joined politics. This is him saying, look, you also have a role to play. The Nigerian government says we all have a role to play, and he says you too have a role to play. I've spoken to you, go to your community and also preach this message that we can make a difference and that Nigeria can only be productive and successful if we all work together to make this place secure. I think he was on point in terms of his message. You may disagree with him, but I think it takes a lot of courage, for him to come out like that and just say it as it is. And hopefully, the gospel, according to Senator Shehu Sani, will be taken beyond that, location where he was preaching to some young northerners.
Yes, and I hope that it resonates with a lot of leaders across all, the geopolitical zones. I mean, ethnic profiling should, be rejected at all costs in Nigeria if we want to build our nation. Well, let's take another story now. The Lagos state government has vowed to hold accountable all parties involved in what it described as the tragic and shocking death of Mrs. Folajimi, a pregnant woman who was reportedly rejected by a private hospital in Lakowe, Igbeju, Lekki. The hospital allegedly refused to treat her due to the absence of a 500,000 naira deposit, a delay that led to the death of both mother and unborn child. Health Commissioner Professor Akin Abayomi says a panel has been set up in partnership with the health facilities monitoring and accreditation agency to investigate the case. Initial reports suggest a traditional birth attendant and a private hospital were involved. Meanwhile, the hospital at the center of the controversy, As Salam Convalescent Center, has denied demanding 500,000 naira before offering treatment. In an exclusive interview with Punch, the hospital's founder, Rauf Salami, refuted the husband's accusation, saying no financial discussion occurred during the family's visit. I mean, this is a huge discussion, Vimbai. I know that the probe will identify any breaches in the medical standards and determine the degree of negligence. Well, we did take this story last week and there was outrage across Nigeria. I mean, this was really a shocking story where, it appeared that this woman was rejected. Now the hospital is saying that it wasn't because of money, it was because, there was a treatment that they couldn't attend to in their private center. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's unfortunate that it's now, this is somebody's life and it's come down to a case of he said, she said. I went to educate myself further after the last time we took the story and I read the National Health Act, Section 20, which says that there's no healthcare facility that has the right to deny anybody, that is permitted to deny emergency care to any patient, especially in life-threatening situations, public or private. Well, they're now saying that they allegedly didn't have the necessary facilities to attend to her, which again is an indictment of where we are. It was just at the end of last year that there was the announcement that there would be free C-sections given out across the country. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether it's a C-section she needed or what it was exactly that she needed, but there was a commitment made to maternal care because we know that Nigeria has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world, and it's largely preventable. It's largely, you know, we usually mock people who travel overseas to go and give birth and so forth. But in many instances, it's because people are just looking for more reliable healthcare. Now, I hope this probe can bring out all of the details, all of the information necessary. And now, what are the steps forward? Lagos State is saying that they need to do more education around the use of traditional birth attendants, which is a more sustainable way for women to give birth in our environment, because I guess they're saying that we can't afford to put up public hospitals and public maternity centers everywhere. But what we're promoting are these traditional birth attendants, which are used across the country. And it's just like your own personal doula, I believe. So it's somebody who's able to assist you and is subsidized by the state. In the meantime, it's unfortunate that it took this tragedy to bring this conversation to the front burner again. I do hope we get to the bottom of it and we find out what truly transpired, and I hope we can prevent other recurrences.
Rotus, I can see you typing away. You're having a chat.
It's with the YouTube community that they're very active.
It would be nice to hear what they're saying as well.
Well, no, they're saying that this is something that needs to be investigated, right? But, you know, look, if I can understand someone in a sudden accident that you don't know. Accidents are unforeseen. So you might get shot. We're just talking about terrorism and banditry. You might get robbed. You might be in a car accident. We've had several cases where an unfortunate accident has happened and you get to a hospital and they deny you treatments. However, as a single man, which everybody has been telling me to get married and get ready, you prepare in advance, right? So if someone gets pregnant and is getting ready to give birth, I guess it would behoove the father of that child to save towards that, to where you don't have a situation where when she's about to get ready to give birth, you don't have the 500,000 naira. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound insensitive here.
No, this is very good.
But
you're already preparing.
So if there was, again, just to make the point, if it was a sudden accident, you got struck by lightning or something, okay, I don't have the money for that. But a pregnancy, you can see that coming and...
So
you know, again, they're investigating it. The hospital has come back and said they didn't charge the fee, but still, you got to prepare for these things, right?
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. However, pregnancy is a very unpredictable journey.
Yes.
I don't know their circumstances, but what I know for a fact is that a pregnancy can be determined to be low risk. It can be said to be a smooth pregnancy and you'll go and push and there'll be no complications. But it's highly unpredictable. And if you as the husband are working off the information that this is a normal low-risk pregnancy and everything will work out, you may have enough for the normal delivery and not enough for
the home care
emergency.
Delivery,
Yes, a home care, yes.
And home care delivery could also be.
You are missing the point. The point that Rotus is making is that the whole substance of this conversation is, according to Mr. Folajimi, that when he got to that Asalam Convalescent Center, as it is called, that he was asked to deposit 500,000. And the man was saying, please admit my wife. I will go and look for the money.
Yes.
And his own point is that, look, when you impregnate a woman, you can't come at 9 months and you are saying, just treat her. Let me go and look for the money. There are many people who do that. They put you under pressure. Brother, your wife has just given birth. They will be calling you from the village. Pregnancy that you knew nothing about. It's only when they get to maternity center that they will be moving around. Mr. Folajimi behaved in an irresponsible manner.
But how do we know?
I'm stretching the logic.
But how do we know? It's like an emergency situation.
His own words. Number 2.
Yeah.
Dr. Salame,
yes,
who is the owner of that Asalam Convalescent Center, says that that woman, God bless her soul, God rest her soul, that she had no record of having ever visited the hospital. She had not, they could not find evidence of she having done any antenatal care. And that what they could establish was that she had been going to TBAs. You impregnate a woman, you will be taking her to quacks, to traditional birth attendants, instead of letting her go through. In fact, the hospital is saying that she had lost blood. So they even went to the hospital late.
All right, that's their side of the story.
No, there are 2 sides to every story.
That's their side.
And now the hospital said they didn't have the facilities or, the capability to deal with that situation. Yes. That was why they referred them to the general hospital. So there are two sides to the story. I know it's emotional to say one Mr. Fulajimi said they asked me to bring 500,000. After all, the first time we discussed this story, I talked about the Hippocratic Oath.
Yes.
What the two sides of the story have now shown us, are basically the objective conditions. But it's important that the Commissioner for Health for Lagos State has now set up a panel to look into this matter, to establish whether there was negligence. And there will be lessons that people should learn. If you are a woman, you are pregnant, go for antenatal care. If you are a man, you impregnate a woman, prepare for delivery day.
All right.
Don't say when you get to the hospital, they should allow you to go and borrow money and come back.
All right.
That's irresponsibility of the highest order.
All right. At the end of the day, a woman has lost her life and the man has lost his unborn child. And there was no emergency care to take care of such a simple care. Well, may her soul rest in peace. We'll take another story, this time from Ogun State. Over the weekend, the people of Egba celebrated the Lishabi Festival in Abeokuta, the state capital. The festival themed Egbaliganza united Egba people globally to honor their legendary hero, Lishabi Agbongbo Akala, a fearless liberator who fought against oppression in the 1700s. The event showcased Egba heritage, blending cultural pride with modern style, including fashion displays. Prominent Nigerians, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, attended the festival. Let's take a look. We have an Egba son here. Congratulations. Over the weekend, it was so colorful. I mean, I know the Lishabi united the Egba against the Oyo Empire between 1775 and 1780, securing their independence. His legacy inspires unity and cultural pride. I just wanted to congratulate you, Dr. Avati, because you're an Egba son, and I thought that I should play. I've been itching to play this. It was beautiful.
I would have loved to see him in his garb also at the festival.
All right, then. Shall we now take this story of a lady known as Everyday with Gold on TikTok, who's celebrating what she describes as a major milestone, as she became the first woman in her community to board an airplane. Well, in this video, the lady filmed herself boarding an Air Peace flight with a caption, headed to the airport, saying that she was entering the plane for the first time in her life. She was later seen celebrating the achievement with friends and neighbors. Let's take a look.
Entering plane for the first time in my life, and it's also my first time going to Lagos. This is me, and here we are already at the airport. We just got to the airport. So because it's my first time, my dad had to follow me, so he's going to follow. He helped me to get my body pass.
I'm sorry. That shall never end. Dr. Abati, please, over to you. I'm quickly on this. I can't help myself. No. What happened to this? Quickly, 1 second, and we move.
No. People celebrate all kinds of things. Don't worry. That my comment was off camera.
Well, okay, what can we say? Congratulations to this movement. It's a big deal in the
mobility.
community.
It's upward mobility.
Absolutely.
It shows advance, and I'm happy. It's experience.
All right.
Finally, playing is experience. Good for her. The flyer, the board, the billboard, everything.
Your village
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
You must
You
celebrate.
I must put a banner.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Just a little bit of comic relief for our viewers. Well, let's head over now to the United Kingdom, where the founder and chairman of Zenith Bank PLC, Jim Ovia, was awarded the Freedom of the City of London. The honor was bestowed upon him by the Lord Mayor of the City of London, Alistair King, at the iconic Maison House on Monday. Well, dignitaries including Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, billionaire businessman Aliko Dangote, the chairman and editor-in-chief of This Day and Arise Media Group, Prince Nduka Obaigbena, all gathered at a reception dinner to celebrate with the distinguished banker. President Tinubu described the honor as a fitting recognition of Mr. Ovia's exceptional contributions to business, innovation, and technology, as well as his role in shaping Nigeria's financial landscape and strengthening economic ties between Africa and the rest of the world. Let's take a look.
Now you know. Now you know. If you know, you know. The big ballers in town. Now you know. Now you know. Forget what they know them, yes. How much is money? It's nothing. Ballin'. Premium or nothing. Now you know.
I think my relationship with Jim has actually been a relationship, very solid relationship for the last 34 years. I think we both got the banking license together. We got Liberty Merchant Bank and he got Zenith Bank. We had a very, very good relationship, a relationship of a senior brother with a junior brother, not only business. We have a very personal relationship apart from the business. So he's a great person, like what I said earlier on, somebody with a very, very big heart. He's a very good person. He deserves all.
How much is money? It's nothing. Ballin'.
Oh, that was a beautiful celebration. Congratulations to the chairman of Zenith Bank. We know that the Freedom of the City of London title is an ancient tradition given to individuals for outstanding contributions to London or public life. Jim Ovia can now enjoy the benefits of being a free man of the City of London, which include the right to drive sheep and cattle over London Bridge, the right to carry a naked sword in public, and also, guess what, Reuters, if the police in London City finds a free man drunk and incapable, they will bundle him or her into a taxi and send them home rather than throw them into a cell. I mean, congratulations. Huge congratulations to Jim Ovia.
Jim Ovia, we've celebrated bankers today, right? Yes. Jim Ovia of Zenith Bank, Dr. Oumoyele of Fidelity, Pascal of Diamond Bank, formerly. Jim Ovia, he has fantastic legacy.
Yes.
We went through Zenith Bank's results here on the Global Business Report. Big company. He's done very well. Congratulations to him. Well deserved.
And it was nice to see everyone there, including Aliko Dangote, and of course our chairman right there, the Duke of Owa Kingdom, supporting the legendary banker, Jim Ovia. Congratulations. We'll take our final story now under entertainment. A Grammy Award-winning superstar, Thames, thrilled thousands of fans in North Carolina at the Dreamville Festival on Monday. The 29-year-old star was one of the headliners performing some of her hit singles, including Essence. Let's take a look.
I don't know why you're the one, turn me out of my mind. You don't need no other.
Congratulations, our Temilade Okpeniyi, Grammy-winning superstar. Always so graceful. Kudos to her and her team for pulling off that performance. I'd like to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.